Soul Garden.
Hello, Officer Scorpio, and welcome back to Soul Horoscopes Weekly Update. From my webcam to yours, I'm Christopher Witecki, your host to the universe. I'm also happy to announce a new sale going on for my readings. If you buy a 1-hour reading right now, you'll get a free 30-minute follow-up reading you can use in 2012. This is perfect for new people who've never read with me. It's also good to blast through a hard issue. Hurry up while Witecki supplies last. And also, come on down and be part of our video studio audience. We now have video in our chat room, so anytime we have a show like office hours and whatnot, our own players can come on stage and meet each other. So it's really a beautiful home away from home, Soul Garden, all these souls and live action and live activity. For the Scorpios, the I Protect Scorpios, we're wrapping up the Sun in Leo and we are moving in to the Sun in Virgo during this course of the week. Now, this entire transit of Sun in Leo has been a career and legacy transit. Basically, Scorpios have got to have their decision making in alignment with their hearts. They must make all decisions in life based on what they love. This translates into control. This translates into career legacy. So you've been really working on career legacy, but you've also been working to get back into a state of something that you love, that your life's in the direction that you love, so you can feel love and you can enjoy love, right? That's what we're all hoping for. Sun in Leo. So over the last weekend, we had the new moon on Friday, pretty intense, plus Mars was putting a lot of pressure on your weeds. So you might have had some real hard breakdowns with career or personally over the weekend. What's normally a peaceful new moon was pretty brutal. As we begin on Monday, it is cloudy with a chance of some severe irritability. That's because the moon is in Libra and emotions are now moving to your weed issues. So there's a chance of fear storms kind of coming up. There's a chance of weeds coming up, and you need to face these weeds. This is something we're going to talk about. I talk about heavily in the Act 3 videos. So that's part of the setup. You also are going to have to be in a space to just hold space on Monday. Hold space for the life you want, for the loving life you want. There's a bit of a tug of war that goes on with that. On top of that, the universe does throw in sub-turbulence with this opposition. There'll be a period of a few hours, which we will text you if you are in the guardian agency, where emotions around fear are going to oppose reality. So really, reality could go under some many heavy storms where you're being pulled between faith and reality. You really need to be willing to look at reality differently and surrender to that higher faith. Remember, fighting weeds and having faith is really what we want to do. There we go. Is really what you want to do. And on Monday, you'll be doing a bit of that. So the irritability is the fighting of those weeds. The irritability is the tug of war to reality. Tuesday, things get a little worse. Sorry about that. Showers, chance of fear fires. This is because the story of Act 3 and the Act 3 videos is now moving ahead with rapid fire. That story is that Scorpios have got to eliminate their inner fears, face their weeds, and build genuine inner faith in themselves by their birthday. These storms on Tuesday are the beginning, but there's two reasons for the storms. On the one hand, you're going to have to hold space for everything you work for with career. 29 degrees means that we are tested. It's a tested degree of Leo. So you're being tested to fall back into the old career attitude, the old decision-making, or loveless decision-making. Okay, loveless decision-making. That's part of what happens. But the universe has also got a whole separate party going on in your subconscious, which ties into your multi-lifetime pattern and ties into basically all of the old weeds and the old fears and whatnot. So strangely enough, you are being tested at work and you are being tested, I think, in your personal inner faith. And let's look more closely at that party going on with Saturn, shall we? As the moon moves through Libra, it will first cross Saturn. This is the first energy is that you will have to make a decision and cut away from old emotional baggage, meaning no matter how much this is a pattern, you step away. Then when Mars hits, boom, it infuriates. It gets angrier. Anger or ego comes online. So some people may wait too long, okay, until it hits Mars in order to do anything. That's where it'll be more accidental. That's where things will not go as well as planned. When the moon crosses Saturn, you really want to listen to your intuition and make those decisions for where you stand with inner faith or not, where you stand with weeds or not. Because as soon as it hits Mars, hours later, boom, it's like lighting it on fire. You're going to see what you did, act right away. And this is all part of what I said in Act 3 and what the Act 3 videos are really about in this particular chapter. On Wednesday, we move to 0 degrees, but the good news is the moon moves into Scorpio. So it's cloudy but cool on the first day of Virgo. This will feel kind of a weird day. It's no man's land. Actually, Pluto's ruling the planet, so this is the one day of the month that it's all about Scorpio. And isn't it interesting? The moon also is in Scorpio. The universe is basically treating you with favorites as far as I'm concerned on this day. Now, of course, you're going to be shifting into a new study, and this new study deals with the sun in Virgo. The Virgo state of awareness is the awareness that Scorpios use to manage their social life and their context. Scorpios are incredibly precise with how they relate or fit with everyone in life. Very precise, like an anal retentive Virgo. Very, very picky about who their friends are. Anal retentive Virgo. Very, very picky about what kind of title they take in society. Again, that Virgo energy. Now, strangely enough, the Virgo energy is just like the I love energy. It comes from the heart chakra. Our I be consciousness, or our reality, stems from our heart. So what we love is what we're supposed to fit into. What you love is what you're supposed to fit into. You're only supposed to connect to what you love in society, and you're not supposed to connect to what you don't love. That keeps Scorpios and boundaries pretty true for all of Earth. Now, there are 3 states: the live, the love, and the be. Those are the 3 states of the Virgo awareness: live, love, be. First, we're going to focus on live, which is how you live. And in your case, how do you live in your society? How do you live in your context? What context do you live in? So in the first 10 days, we're going to work on what is your context. Do you see yourself as a plumber, as a this, as a that, first class, green collar worker, blue collar worker, male, female, transgender, gay, straight? These titles, these are how we feel we belong. And you're going to be exploring where you feel you belong and where you don't feel you belong in the first 10 days of the sun in Virgo. I don't think this will be very hard, because out of all of our states of awareness, Virgo is the cleanest. We had Saturn go through it a long time ago. We've really recuperated from it. It was a hard time some time ago. Now we know what to do. You should know what to do. And in this first direction, we're trying to feel it out. So on Thursday, when the sun goes 1 degree, you're immediately going to begin to feel your context. Who are your friends? Who aren't your friends? What do you align with? What do you not align with? You'll suddenly start to feel yourself a little annoyed by certain behaviors. That's because of a couple oppositions. The good news is the moon is still in Scorpio, so it's basically sunny and super cool. So I think you're feeling really good, and I think you're feeling really strong. That's a positive. But there is an opposition still to be said, and this is a trine, but it's between Neptune and the sun. This is the God versus reality moment I talked about in the Act 3 videos, where we really feel pulled between our intuition and what seems real. And we really are confused. Now, I don't think we're going to fix that confusion in this particular day, but in your case, this God reality is your inner child is not happy, and you're also, not happy with where you are in your social life. So you're trying to find balance between where you are in the world and what your heart really wants, and that tug-of-war begins on Thursday and just builds up to a crescendo this weekend, which you're going to see in a little bit. At the same time, there's this little trine where your emotions in your ego are feeding directly into your beliefs. So you're really walking around the earth like very righteously on this day, because all of what you believe is pouring into your emotional expression in the moment. So keep that in mind. You might be a little bit heavier. You may be coming off heavier than you realize. Then comes Friday. Now, Friday is a pretty passionate day, and for you, it's a productive day. The moon will rule the day, and the moon shifts into Sagittarius. So it goes from your ego consciousness into your soul capital consciousness. You're going to be feeling it, feeling what you're worth, feeling what you deserve, and that's what turns into light casting and manifestation. So I believe that Friday is going to be a good day. There is also a soul pyramid for a few hours on Friday, which is going to unite 3 areas or 3 states of awareness within you. So 3 states get united. When they get united, you have an epiphany, a global realization over your soul. It harbors around the moon, the fastest moving planet, in Sagittarius. So your emotions are feeling what you're worth. This leads to a new idea of what lifestyle can be or not be with Uranus and Aries. So you're looking to live differently in the moment entirely. In fact, you'd like to feel valuable in the moment every day. And then that trines over to Mercury and Leo, which is still back thinking about career. So it looks like if you kind of surrender to what you really feel you're worth, the moon, surrender to your feelings about what you're worth on Friday, you will come to a new epiphany about how you should live in the moment, and perhaps where you should be directing your career, which does to some degree affect social status in some places. So Friday, we're definitely dealing with that. On Saturday, it's a Jupiter ruled day, and you're basically exploring. It's a productive day. It's a sunny and exploration day. You're going to be out, and what are you exploring? Well, you're exploring where you feel like you might belong next, where you want to be, what neighborhood, what title, what friendships, what social circle, what Facebook. These are all the little details of Virgo consciousness that relate to your social life and reputation, and that's what you want to focus on. But there's a lot of other energy and magic going on this particular day. For one, a grand square. This grand square really is a dead stop, so although we're growing powerfully on the inside with these transits, having four corners pulling in each direction means we don't move anywhere. Now the square is really only temporary. It happens from the moon up in Sagittarius, temporarily opposing Jupiter in Gemini. For you, this will be feelings of what you're worth versus where your personal boundaries are. So you might be in a struggle between making money but you're not comfortable doing that, or wanting this more but you're not comfortable confronting the person, or it's a boundary versus soul capital. And then of course you've got God versus reality still going on with the Sun versus Neptune. So being pulled in four ways means we are in a dead stop. Jupiter rules the day, so what does that mean? It means that we're supposed to learn. Saturday is a day of learning, but you'll probably be productive if you're working on other things like projects. Sunday, breakdown. It's our first Uranus storm of the season, and that means we're going to have breakdown. Breakthrough will come in the next horoscope. Showers, chance of some severe mind games. The mind games trigger the breakdown, but the breakdown is actually with your social context, right? That's what the topic of the month is. So the first thing to note is this trine going on and where the moon is, right? The moon is crossing Pluto and trining the sun, and that moon-Pluto conjunction hits you right in the head, literally, your intellectual state of awareness. Hits you right in the brain. So let's get a little closer on that, shall we? As the moon crosses Pluto, it's actually an invitation to release old emotional attachments you have to a certain thinking. So this is letting go of old arguments, letting go of old mind games, letting go. Of course, to let go, you've got to get smacked by it. By the time the moon crosses Pluto, most of my clients will have let go, and by the time the moon is off of Pluto, you have a new awareness born. In this case, that awareness born would most likely be a new attitude or a new emotional intellectual response to a problem. But these emotional intellectual response issue here pours right down into the sun. Whoops, I'm getting my backwards. Gets right down in the sun. And what that means is I think you being asked to release from old mind games or attitudes or arguments partly triggers or is a co-conspirator to the breakdown of your social context. This is going to end up shattering how you see yourself in the world, and part of that is by letting go of old emotional attachments to old fights. So you might even look at it this way. You're letting go of old fights, which allows you to go to new places in the world, and you still got that opposition between what your inner child wants with Neptune and the breakdown happening with your social context. So kind of leaves us on a heavy note there, Christopher. Sorry, that's the way I am. One thing I do want to remind you, though, remember Mars and Saturn. I know. Through this whole time, you will continue to also kill weeds. So probably all of the things I said this whole week, in the background, you're ending lifelong weed patterns. So yes, this is definitely tough. I told you it would be in Act 3, but I'm here for you, damn it, even if I am a day late. All right, my officers, that's all I have for this particular 7-day forecast. Good luck with all that. Oh my goddess, you got 12 minutes out of me. I must love you. I know I do. I'll see you in 7 days. Live, love, be.